Hello and welcome to another episode of Conservative Circle. I'm your host, Jeffrey Edenfield.
And I'm your co-host, Eli Duggar.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, James Fishback. James Fishback is running to succeed Governor Ron DeSantis as Florida's next Republican governor to make life more affordable for you and your family. Welcome, James. Merry Christmas to you.
Christmas.
So, James, for people that don't know you, who are you and why are you in this race?
I am the son of two proud Americans, grew up in a working class family down in South Florida in Broward County. Did public school my entire life, went off to college in DC where I studied economics. I spent 10 years working at investment firms, channeling capital into companies. Most recently, that hire on meritocracy as opposed to DEI. And I'm running for Florida governor for one reason. I want to make it more affordable for Floridians to buy a home, raise a family, and when it's all said and done, to retire with dignity.
Yes. So, James, your main issue, you're running on affordability. So, what is your affordability plan and how will you make life more affordable?
Well, we got to make life affordable from two perspectives. Affordability isn't just the cost of things, it is also our take home pay. And so, to start on the affordability side, we actually have to increase the number of great paying jobs for Floridians in our state. And you do that a number of different ways. One, you tackle the influx of cheap foreign labor that has stolen jobs, undercut jobs from people all the way from Okaloosa County in Northwest Florida, all the way down south to Broward and Dade, my old stomping ground. If you don't have a job, quite literally everything is unaffordable. And so number one on affordability is create great paying jobs. That means standing up to programs like H-1B, outsourcing, and as governor, I'll protect Florida workers. Number two, we have to bring down the number one cost, which is the home. And I don't just mean the home itself and the cost of that. I mean property tax, property insurance, HOAs, all of that. We bring that down by really tackling the root causes. I think right off the bat, I'm in favor of eliminating, not giving property tax relief, but eliminating property taxes for Florida residents on their primary homesteaded property. So if you've got a second or third home, you're still going to pay property tax. If you're from Canada or China or New York and you own a home in Florida, you're still going to pay property tax. But if you're a Florida resident who is from our state, their first home will be completely relieved of all property taxes. We talk about affordability. That's going to be handing families upwards of $5,000, $10,000, even $15,000 of annual tax saving that can go to paying for groceries, paying the bills, and covering all the expenses that prop up in everyday life. And then lastly, on the affordability side, we have to create a real education system that helps people get great paying jobs. I'm proud that I am the only candidate who has a policy called the Florida Sunshine Grant, the FSG. That means, Eli, Jeffrey, when you graduate from high school with a 3.0 GPA and a passing score on the SAT, each of you are going to get $10,000 check. That $10,000 can either go to paying for your home, and that enables us to live out as Christians our call to be fruitful and to multiply, to marry a God-fearing woman, and to raise a God-fearing family. A precondition to living out that goal is being able to afford a home. So $10,000 for your home or $10,000 to start or invest in an existing business. And guess what we do? We create a real incentive for you guys to keep doing well at school. When we do that, we're going to raise a generation of proud Floridians who are going to not just be qualified to jump right into the labor force, but are going to have a labor force that is welcoming to Floridian talent once again.
All right. So now the next question, Eli has that question, and it's about the AI centers. So, Eli, go ahead.
All right. So I know one big aspect of your campaign is talking about the AI centers, their harmful effects, combating that. I was going to ask, what are your plans for the AI centers, and how will you be discouraging them, and stopping their harmful effects?
Well, I think that AI generally is a net positive for society, Eli. If you guys know have been on ChatGPT, you might have used it to create a video or a graphic or do research for class. It is a transformative tool, and we need to definitely enable that in education. But we have to be wary of the side effects of AI, whether it's the AI chatbots getting kids to do all sorts of weird stuff, or whether it's now the construction of AI data centers. that are so massive that they make a Costco look like a 7-Eleven convenience store. These AI data centers, when they go online, they're the equivalent of 500,000 to a million homes worth of electricity. And so when you bring on that new demand for electricity in a community without increasing the supply of electricity, Economics 101 will tell you that the price of electricity for everyone will go up. And so as Florida governor, I will block the construction of any AI data center that threatens to raise our electric bills, and also the AI data centers that threaten our natural environment. There's a very simple question that every voter needs to ask when deciding their next governor. Will this person preserve Florida? Yes or no? My answer is yes, I will preserve Florida. But you cannot say you're going to preserve Florida and allow the construction of AI data centers like my opponent, Byron Donalds, wants to do. I want to keep our Everglades. I want to keep the Gulf of America free from offshore drilling. I want to keep and protect our wetlands. I want to make sure our rural farmland, whether it's citrus or cattle, remains farmland. It does not remain. It is or is not hijacked for the construction of a 500-acre AI data center complex. That is what we can do to protect our electric bills from going up, and we can also protect our water, our air, and our environment.
Good. That's great. And I'm glad to hear that. And I had another question I wanted to ask you, and that is, what do you have to say to your opponent, Byron Donalds? What are your thoughts on him accepting money through APAC as well?
Well, look, I think Byron Donalds is probably a good guy, to tell you the truth. I've gotten to know him. I had dinner with him in August. But this is just a question of not the who, it's a question of the what. What vision for Florida do you want? If you want Florida to be the next financial capital of the world, vote for Byron Donalds. If you want AI data centers in your backyard, vote for Byron Donalds. If you want more overdevelopment on John Sims Parkway in Okaloosa County, you want more self-storage units and self-service car washes, vote for Byron Donalds. Now, if you like the vision of Florida First, America First, the vision of our campaign, that's going to bring the Amtrak back to the Florida Panhandle, that's going to create 10,000 great paying jobs for kids right out of high school in the Florida Panhandle. If you want to raise teacher pay all across the state, if you want to do all those things, then I've got a campaign to talk to you about. It's called Fishback for Florida. So Byron Donalds and I are going to have our disagreements. We are both men of Christian faith. I respect him and what he has done for his family. But at the end of the day, we have a very different future for what our state looks like. I don't want Florida to become the financial capital. I think Floridians, whether they're in Northwest Florida, Central, Southwest, or Northeast, they're proud of our state's culture, identity, and natural beauty. And we don't want to be something that we're not. We are not the next New York. We are not the next Dubai. It's time to get real. We need to be proud about what we are. And I think if you think about Northwest Florida, you think about the folks who are at Destin, who are living in Destin, you think about the people who are contributing to the Air Force at Eglin Air Force Base or over at the Naval Station in Pensacola. We need to make sure that we have a state that works for them and our high school grads, and that's why I'm in this race.
That's good.
So, do you think that people are going to, vote for Byron Donalds just because, he is Trump endorsed? Because I've heard from a lot of people that are saying that, they're probably going to, vote for Byron Donalds. And, I've mentioned you. I've like, got you out there. I said, well, also look at this other candidate, James Fishback. I think that he would be a great candidate. I mean, he is a great candidate, and why consider him? Do you think that, people are just going to vote for him because he's a Trump backed?
I think that Floridians have always bucked the trend. We bucked the trend in 2018 when the establishment-backed candidate Adam Putnam was the darling, the favorite. And then a guy named Ron DeSantis from Central Florida came out of nowhere and won the nomination and has been an incredible governor. We voted against the pack when they told us that Hillary Clinton was going to beat Donald Trump, and of course he didn't. We voted for Trump again overwhelmingly, 13-point margin of victory for President Trump against Kamala Harris last November. I think what Floridians want is they want someone who's going to show up. So my commitment to you guys is I'm going to be in Okaloosa County, and I'm going to be in all 67 counties between now and Election Day on August 18th, 2026, because I want to earn every single vote. And I'm not going to show up and give you a 1-hour speech about my life story. I'll give you a 10-hour, I'll give you a 10-minute background on me and my vision, and then I'll take questions for as long as we need to. I did this just 2 days ago in Palm Beach County. We were in a pizzeria, Jeff, for 3 hours with 80 voters. I was on my feet for 3 hours. The voters were on their feet. I took every single question from the incredible people in that group. I'll do the same thing in Okaloosa, Escambia, Walton, Holmes, every single Florida county, because you guys deserve a governor that you can see, that you can talk to, and even debate with. And that's why I'm running.
Well, thank you. Now we're going to get to the comments. So we had some people comment on our Instagram, Conservative Circle 1776. You can find that. At Real Lily Farrow comment says, "What skill do you think will matter most over the next decade that schools aren't teaching? And how do you make high stakes decisions when the data is incompletely or politically charged?"
That's such a good question. Gosh. So the first one is what is the number one thing that schools can be teaching? Is that right, over the next decade?
Yes, that is the question.
So I think a lot of people would answer that question and say AI. I wouldn't. It doesn't mean that AI isn't important. I think young people are actually discovering it on their own, for better or worse, mainly for better, but also for worse at times. I think the most important thing that our young people should be learning in school is American history, our unique way of government, and the God-given liberties that are enshrined in our Constitution. Because I'll tell you the truth, if you don't know what the Bill of Rights stands for, then you're going to let a government tyranny take those rights from you, unwittingly perhaps. And so I want to raise a generation of Florida students who can name every single one of the amendments, who understand what Article 2 does versus Article 3, who can recognize what the Federalist Papers stood for, who recognize the good, bad, and the ugly of American history, but recognize that it's overwhelmingly good. That's what I think is the most important thing, because as we approach next summer, the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, we need to remember that our independence is something that needs to be eternally fought for, that we cannot simply rest on those laurels and say, you know what, well, our founding fathers did it, so we don't have to do it anymore. No, this is a fight about vigilance. We have to keep it up. And so the number one thing that I would stress as governor for 8 years in education is American history, American civics. Every single student should know the Constitution like the back of their hand.
Yeah. And we also have one more comment, and Eli has that comment that he would like to read.
Of course.
So we have another comment coming from @Callie_Christian Conservative, and he says, "How will you combat the influence of foreign governments as well as politicians who are influenced through AIPAC? And will there be any challenges in getting work done as a result?"
It's a great question. There's a real frustration that our politicians, for the longest time, haven't just been bought by big businesses and corporate interest and their donors, but are now being bought by foreign countries. And AIPAC is the perfect example of that. You don't have to have any opinion about Israel or any other foreign country to recognize that it's wrong that our politicians would take money to do the bidding of foreign countries. I am an America First conservative, Eli, and that means to put America first. You have to, get this, put America first. Our Lord and Savior says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, that a man cannot serve two masters. Whether that's Israel or America, America or Qatar, America or China is irrelevant. What matters is that you have to put America first. There can only be one master, and that is the country that you have been elected to serve. And so as a conservative candidate, I will never take a dollar from AIPAC. I have no interest in meeting with foreign governments. I am asking Floridians to vote for me because I am going to put them first. No foreign dollars should ever take place in a campaign for American citizens.
I think that kind of goes along with your message. I mean, to the last question that I have to ask, and that is, what is your message to voters?
My message to voters is, do not blindly trust me. If you like what I'm saying, follow our campaign on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, now X. Follow our campaign over the next 9 months. And if you like our vision for Florida over Byron Donald's vision for Florida, I would be honored to have your vote on August 18th, 2026. The truth is, guys, that the next governor of Florida statistically is going to be a Republican. With all likelihood is going to be a Republican because we're such a red state now. But what kind
I have to say, that's such a relief. Sorry for interrupting, but that's such a relief.
It is a relief, 100%. The question we have to ask ourselves is, what kind of Republican do we want? The vision that I bring to the table, I think, is very different than the vision that Byron Donalds has brought to the table in his 5 years in Congress. And so if you want to have a say in who our next governor is, you have to vote in the Republican primary. You have to make sure that you are registered to vote as a Republican. You can do that online for free. If you do that and show up to vote, pick the right vision of what you want for Florida. Do you want the new Florida of overdevelopment, of AI data centers, of financialization? Or do you want the old Florida that says, we are happy just the way we are. We're not trying to be something that we aren't. And we are going to put our people first again. That's what I'm running on.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching Conservative Circle. I'm Jeffrey Edenfield, your host. I'm joined by Eli Duggar. And thank you, Mr. Fishback, for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.